Okay, here we are back. Yeah, must be part two of, let's see, what should we call this? Old couple take cruise of a lifetime, 28-day Mediterranean transatlantic cruise. Our first one. Okay, so that would be the title. So if you watched the first part of this, you saw, you know, the consternation and tribulation, uh, trepidation, yeah, tribulation. I don't know, that could be a word, I'm not sure. Anyway, that process of going through making the decisions about things you were going to purchase on this cruise and the cruise you actually take yourself and all that. You finally come up with all that. And also, well, in anticipation of being in Athens, that's a starting point. So we intentionally booked 2 days early, so we had an extra day just to check in Athens. Actually, 2 days before we even had to board the ship on its departure on this cruise. So we kind of pre-did the Athens tour on our own, through websites, just checking out what's going on there and seeing what kind of deals are offered. And this one was offered, and it was a very good deal. Uh, uh, you know, taking in Athens, and so then we boarded the boat. So then we're back here, and I've already shared much about oh, uh, entertainment. I don't know if I talked so much about food. Maybe I'll touch on that a little bit more later. But I'll save that till later. Yeah. So last was just talking about the staff. These people, they're Indonesians. I mean, I'm not sure what the dynamic is, but for some reason or other, with their work ethic, and they're beautiful people. I just like these young people. There for to take care of your every need, from making up your room to, preparing the food and the services for you, and just anything you could imagine. So, and they always had a smile on their face, like I mentioned before, and they were always there from morning to night. The same people, every day, day after day. It must be well. Thinking how much they make, I'm not sure. I mean, I went online and it's some various numbers are talked, so I wouldn't even want to begin to suggest what they make. I have no idea. I mean, I did some research on it, and you kind of get a sense that they're not highly paid. So I mean, and maybe it's it's a leverage point from, I'd say like a third world differential, like standard of living, cost of living, things like that. So a workforce coming out of Indonesia, their demands are not, relative to the cost of living in their setting, however it might be. They can imagine maybe they can make for their situation, they can make a lot of money. It wouldn't be that much to you and I as Westerners, based upon our structure, things bigger, fatter, bigger. you I mean, like wages and everything have to be just to keep up with living. Cost of living maybe low, maybe in Indonesia. I'm not sure. I mean, for a typical family, maybe. So maybe like a wage that would be poverty wage for a U.S. citizen. That could be a very elevated, you know, translated into, an economic sense, value, that could be worth a lot of money. Those could be good wages for these people. It's like, I don't know, it just depends on, it have to be measured against the cost of their personal lifestyle living, what their cost is, and that what they get paid, how does that fill that? How much of that does that fill? And is there much like a largesse of it? It's extra, and probably in that case it could be. It probably costs. I'm not sure. You know, yes, it's an area that I'm not really, qualified to. I mean, I have kind of opinions about, and just based upon some generalized, idealized things that you might think about people living as. I think they live a simpler life. I mean, I'm not talking about the people who live in the big high-rise part of it, but they live in. I think they. Let's see. What would you say? A kind of a simpler lifestyle. A simpler lifestyle, I think. Yes, maybe it's kind of a culture. I think it's kind of a cultural thing. It's like. I think they seem like maybe a society that doesn't have a lot of stress maybe going on inside of it internally. It's like people are at peace. People feel at peace. Yeah. People feel at peace. And they bring that peace with them. That's interesting. I just thought about that. Yeah. So, that's the thing of the highest value in that to me is that their presence and the services they offered. I mean, just that was a very significant thing. Yeah. So I did want to mention that about the staff and the people that worked there. Yeah. They were exceptional in everything they did. It's just how, there's another way to put it, just constantly tripping over each other just to give you, see, how can I help you? What can we do this way? No, it wasn't like hanging on you type of thing. So it was just like, they were like there, like this, in the waiting areas, food and that, walking through the aisles, between the tables, offering refills on water, and breakfast would be coffee, and so always topping everything off. And very attentive to your needs, and they were always very friendly and jokey, and they were fun. They were fun people. They had a very bright spirit. Always had a nice word to say. It was kind of neat. Yeah. And all these Caucasian optics, eating their food. No, I'm just kidding. That was just only me. No food. No, the food. We're talking about the food. Yeah. Okay. So, let's just say I'm not gonna. I don't know. You kind of get a sense of it's kind of a little bit of a prevailing theme I got hooked into it very, very early on in the process. It was when after booking it, then you have to figure out what you're going to do when you get to the boards. The more experienced travelers, maybe they can figure that out on their own, individually, independently. Tours and things like that you might want to do when they stop, of course. Or if you're like me, you say, well, what does Holland America offer? And they do offer these, package tours and things that go on. And they were so expensive. It's like, wow, more than doubles the price of the ship, of the cruise. Some of the stuff was so expensive. I had to commit to two of them. Two were just completely out of the question as to be able to do anything on your own, and I didn't want to take a chance. This was one. Trieste was for a Venice tour, and Civitavecchia, which is for Rome. Those are both like you get a bus and drive for an hour and a half to get there from the port. So these are kind of these. I mean, I'm not one of these intrepid travelers. It's like, I can do that, and there are people that are like that, and they can. That's not me. It's like, nah. I don't operate in those stress situations. Whether you're gonna make it back to the ship, yeah, they say, yeah. You know, if it's sponsored by the ship, like one of their group tours, then they say, the ship will not leave without you. Something can break down. You're doing the thing, the Rome thing, and the bus breaks, and you're not gonna make it back to appointed departure time. That ship will wait for you. But if you just do it on an extraneous, independent operation going on outside of the port there, yeah, like something really weird and bizarre could happen. You know, a flat tire or something. You know, I mean, it might have to be a dangerous thing, but it could just be something that would cause. Because it's such a relatively short period of time. It's like between the time you have to be back on the ship, between the time you leave it, we have to be back. Yeah, most of the time, the first disembarkation will be at maybe 8 o'clock, maybe even 9 o'clock. Because they're coming into port, and then you're there, and it's going to leave at 5 o'clock or 4:30, sometimes 6. So that's what you frame in whatever you're going to do at that port. So Trieste was a Holland America sponsored deal. He came down and picked us up in a bus, took us to Venice, and we had a guided walking tour. Very, very well done. And, yeah, it wasn't too bad. The price was, might be mixed up the two, but in one case it's like, it's like $178 a piece to participate in that. And that was about, between the bus ride and then a boat ride. And then up in Venice, and then come back to the boat ride, back to the bus back to the ship. Yeah, so probably half of the time your car was in commuting between. So, yeah, that was, yeah, so anyway, they worked out okay, but, yeah, it's like, those were very, very, those are very low on the list of available things that you could do. And they were very minimal as to what you got out of them, you know. Especially the Rome one, that was just basically a bus ride. You had to look up through the window, watch, enjoy it by. Although they let us out at St. Peter's Square for I think we were there for maybe a couple of hours. And I think it was supposed to be about an hour, but it made about an hour and a half by the time everybody got around. And it was kind of nice wandering through. We could see some of the stuff there. The cathedral, the twin chapels, what do you call them? I don't know, or cathedrals. They're interesting, identical, but they're just going out at an angle, like these little narrow streets going down each side, literally at an angle. It's like opening up. It's going back in each case. Church over here and a church over here. You're right at this point, they're together, but as you project back, they're going away. So that's kind of interesting visual optic. Crazy things they do with churches, huh? Anyway, all in all, yeah, that was St. Peter's Square in Rome. Yeah, that was another one we paid for. That one was, and that was just the bus ride, basically. It was just basically a bus ride. And then a drop off for a little period of time, and then pick up and go back to the ship. That was only like about $120 each. So not as big a price, but you didn't get a lot either. Yeah, or just a bus ride. You take pictures. in the window of the site. Yeah, we went on to the Coliseum, seen the Coliseum, and some other notable structures, from that era or period, Caesar's hangouts and stuff like that, where he went to have a drink and pizza with the guys. Anyway, so that was yeah. Oh, we haven't talked about the food yet, have we? Okay. The food. How best describe it? They polish this stuff up a little bit, so I would say it was acceptable. Yeah, the food was acceptable. There were times when they really hit the mark. Like, whoa, that was good. And there were a few times I think, I kind of missed it on that one, And it's like, no. But, all in all, it's whether it's talking about the dining room or Lido, kind of concessionary, just dispensing of food. I always had a very good, very varied selection of stuff. I'm sure this stuff is bought at market, and the volume they buy, they probably get good prices and stuff. So, they can maybe can incorporate that in a little bit higher grade of stuff. Yeah, everything seemed to be well prepared and well done. Yeah, everything was pretty good. No complaints about that. Yes. Yeah, all in all, it's like, it's not. It's like, well, how should I say? It's let me digress from that comment. The same as there are specialty restaurants that you can subscribe to or go into and sit down, pay for a meal from. So I'm not making any judgment about those because we didn't participate in any of those. It was a Japanese restaurant, I believe. Maybe it was general, maybe like Italian, Italian type of food type of thing. It was, see, what was it? Maybe it was just like just a fancy dining room. You'd have a paying menu in it. I can't remember it. Canalita or something like that. And so, let's see, there was a specialized area, the Dutch Cafe, the Royal Dutch Cafe, or something like that. Supposed to, they have things you can eat, but all the drinks are, paid for, like, there's coffee or alcohol or whatever. So, I did do it one time. They had something on the menu. It looked more interesting than it ended up turning out to be. like toilet paper. It's like 2 eggs over like an egg, some kind of sandwich, ham, I guess, but it's circular round. And it must be about 6 inches in diameter. It's pretty big. And so I got that. And it's like, it's so tasteless. It just needs some maybe sauce or something on it. Dressing or something would have made it. It's like thin slice of ham and I think some cheese, on white bread, usually white bread. And it just didn't have any taste to it at all. It's it needed some kind of dressing on it. And I can't remember if it was, maybe that was my ignorance about what I was ordering. Maybe you have to order made a certain way, may say with mayonnaise or with dressing or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, it just totally lacked. It just didn't hit it. It just didn't quite make it. Oh, and then they got that big chocolatey thing. I've seen it. They've seen videos on it. It's like it always seems so big and soft and gooey like that. and you actually get it, it's like coated like in a plastic chocolate covering, like wax, like it's crunchy. And it's like the confectionery itself is, I mean, it's a prepared thing, so it's like it's not like it didn't just come out of the oven. It matters to be. So it feels like an aged, roll, or yeah, sweet roll or whatever it is, But it's filled with, you eat it, and it's good. It's good. It tastes good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a visual thing. It's like you think soft. It's like, yeah, it's kind of different. But I didn't. And there were a couple of things. My wife got something else. I can't remember. It could have been fish, or sashimi type of thing, raw fish, something like that. Like there, she liked that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and the apple. Yeah, a big chunk of apple. Yeah, that's right. Plicky. That's what it become. Yeah, my wife got one. I got the other, the big roll thing. She got the apple cake. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it was a good experience. Yeah, you just have to change your expectations. Based on, we had something pictured like the Royal Dutch Cafe, and it's like, it's more. Let's see. Where you might get hors d'oeuvres or something like that. Nothing is going to satisfy your palate for a meal. Maybe for a treat or just hit the spot thing, one thing. But for a sit down, I don't know if I'd go there just to sit down and like, hey, we're gonna have lunch, just sit there. But you might have a different experience. But it'd be worth it. It's not like I couldn't eat what they gave me. It was all good. It was all good. Just wasn't prepared at its best, in my opinion. I mean, it wasn't served at its best presentation. Anyway, that was my Royal Dutch Cafe experience. Oh, let's see, what other things? One thing I did notice is that the coffee tastes different in the dining room than at the Lido, where they serve it out of big tins of it. And well, at least I should qualify that. At least for the first part of the cruise, for the first 6 days or so, we have coffee from the dining room, like for breakfast. I didn't eat anything, but I drank coffee. My wife would eat. And the coffee was dark and it was rich, and I tell you, I liked it. It was like a real bold taste. But when you get the coffee from Lido, I don't know, it tastes different. I mean, not only, it's not just like it's weaker, or it's like I don't know. Maybe they use a different grade of coffee, but I can taste the difference. If you doctor it up with sugar and creamers and stuff like that, maybe it doesn't make a difference. But if you drink coffee black like I do, you pick up on those things. Some coffees are nicer to drink than others. Sometimes you just do it because you can't get it. Oh yeah, some coffees are okay if you're eating something while you're drinking it, like a sandwich. Some coffees don't work that way. But just to sit and enjoy, sip of coffee, some are like, oh God, if a chemical or something was, an acridness. I don't know, like cheaper coffees have it a lot more. But, so anyway, getting back to our story on the ship and the food and the selection and all. Well, I guess you could say, based upon the prices that you pay to take one of these cruises, it's like I'd say it's like a McDonald's bill of fare with a Ruth's Chris House Steakhouse price tag. it was like, yeah, everybody enjoys going to McDonald's. The food's not that bad. So yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah. So overall, that's just an appraisal. And I didn't do any of the specialty residents, so that could be a factor. Yeah, but you know what? I'm not a big connoisseur. In fact, that's the whole thing. It's like, what would there? I mean, I found things that were perfectly satisfying to me, and it's like, why? I'm at that point in my life. It's like, I'm not going to pay a premium just to, you know, to pay. I'm like, I can get this for one thing and this for another. I mean, this is contrastingly different, appeal to me at a particular moment in time. Maybe ribs as opposed to, spinach salad over here. It's like, I'm saying one or the other, but not both. So that's another consideration when you think about. But I will have to. Well, one of the things, I digress a little bit, going back into the review of the restaurant areas. Was it the dine-in, the hamburgers and hot dogs? Excellent choice. Any of them. I did both. And the New York Deli, New York Deli, I'm not sure it was. The pizza. I didn't get a chance to try any of the sandwiches. I wanted to do that, and I forgot to do that. I was really interested in that. No, they make the salad. Oh yeah, both the pizza. If you can do those would be highlights. I did it 2 times, I think, on the pizza. It's like, because there's so much other things you want to try, so it's like you gotta work it in. The same kind of thing when they would do a hamburger or a hot dog, other than say picking things off, or sitting down for dinner or lunch and being waited on, and he presented a menu. And so, most of the time we sat down for dinner for lunch and dinner, except towards the end. I think about the last 3 days of the trip, it was like the the dining area was not open for lunch. So you only had one. Well, you could do any of the paid restaurants for sure. Lido, the Grand Dutch Cafe, things that you could find to eat. That's what I'm saying. And I think there could have been some bars. I don't know if they bar food. I'm not sure how that worked. I mean, there were always, there's always alcohol being peddled on the ship. Yeah, but these people, there were very, very few minors. I think I might have seen 2 or 3 little young, like pre-teen age, probably 10, 12, I'm not sure. I seem to be about that age. A boy and a girl, but not together, just separately. I'm trying to think of it. I didn't really see. So we didn't have to worry about, violating the youth, underage drinking issues. But so it wasn't like, it's like, yeah, well, so I think I look like one of the younger participants, to give you an idea. No, there were a sprinkling of younger couples, probably you'd say maybe in their 20s. But for the most part, there was a big jump over there. I think probably people from predominantly in their, I'd say, 60s to 70s, with the bulk, and some higher up there, and some a little bit lower. I think that's where the bulk of the clientele was coming from. And you say bulk, a lot of people were bulk, and contrast that with these, very well trim shaped, Indonesian, I hope, staff, it's like, but it was a visual. I mean, it was a nice visual pleasure, to be able to see, see the staff working, and that part was a good expression, a good experience, So, anyway, trying to think of any other things about the trip that would be noteworthy. Just make a comment. Well, I'm going to just give you an overview. The first half of the trip was predominantly occupied like daily ports. So, almost like maybe it was one or two travel days in the whole. I mean, like a day where you traveled without going to the port. So, two of those in the first half of it. Otherwise, like every port, and you off and on, off and off and off and on. So, that was the pace, and it's like to take us, as you can imagine, short port stays. It's gonna get compressed into a smaller space of time to do the amount of viewing that you want to do. So, yeah, so each one kind of developed like that. And I talked about that earlier, just going with the flow. So now, change the pace, and now it's like 2 days travel time to the last port we're going to stop in. So that's, that 2 days really felt good. I think, wow. Because we like run, it's like crazy. I mean, the youngins, us oldsters, run up and down those ramps and that. Yeah. Yeah, so and then the 2 days before we get to what the island Spanish, Portuguese, yeah. Oh, I can't think of the name of it, but and then we have a day there. It's like, I think that those 2 days felt so nice to me, not to my wife. She's got so much energy, she must have gone. Look at it. I think, I just like to relax a little bit, And we kind of commingled our time a little bit. Some she does a lot of freelancing just because she's got so much energy out there taking pictures, all over the place. And and I thought, and then in my mind I'm thinking, gee, the Atlantic crossing, that's like 6 days. And it's like, for me, it's like, I really love that we get able to get off and do that stuff. But for me now, it's thinking, that I kind of got I got pretty well satisfied with that visual thing about these old places. They all seem to look alike anyway to me. The construction, architecture is all about the same. From one part of it all goes back to antiquity. The buildings, 2,000 year olds, and so forth. So there's a lot of interesting history about it, all for sure. So, but I was tired, 80-year-old man tramping around. But I tell you, it keeps you well, it keeps you alive. So I appreciate that part of it. Yeah, so that 6 days, it was different. Then you try to occupy your time entertaining with the entertainment on board, entertainment, the bands playing, the little local performances, all the stage performances. Yeah, so you incorporate those into actually even along the way too, while you're doing the port hopping type of thing. Yeah, taking a little bit of sitting out, and then you meet some people and you talk, and you find out where they're from, and you cross paths from time to time, and you interchange conversations about what's going on. They're seeing, just topical stuff, and then you just kind of move about your life, and it's like a little floating city. It was a fun experience. Yeah, it was. But the ending point. Wow. This was one of those stress elevators for me. Going through immigration, getting off the boat, going through their process. And this was in Fort Lauderdale. Because like the ship, I ran the ship all at once. You know, I never thought of it that way, but because that's almost one of my things. It's like coming into airports and going through immigration, customs, or what do you call it? When you're coming into the United States, it's like, such a hassle getting these lines like that. But it just didn't dawn on me that this wasn't, they weren't unloading an airplane, they were unloading a ship. And it's like, wow, it's like what an airport was by 100 times. Yeah, so, but surprisingly, immigration moved people through pretty quickly, so it didn't turn out. I think we were there maybe about an hour and a half getting through the whole process. It looked like it could have been longer, but the thing is you sit back and strike up conversations with the fellow, people in the line, get through. Yeah, and it all we all got through it, and, the thing is not to let it upset you, just accept it and you say, this is your journey today, and this is this is going to be part of your life, at this point in time. Don't resent it. Just agree to it and, accept it and say, yeah, this is what it is. There's nothing I can do to change what the outcome's going to be, the timing of it and all that. So, of course, you're obviously prepared. You got all the documents. It sets you. You do the normally responsible things. Yeah, things should just go normal, and they do. You go through, and so the perfunctory question is, do you have anything to declare or something like that? Sure, I said, nah, I don't want to take anything off that ship. Are you kidding me? No, I just shouldn't. No, we never. Yeah, so no, we didn't. We didn't have anything in our possession, like liquor or what other things people could potentially buy. I think there is duty-free shops on the boat. I think I can maybe deal with liquor and maybe jewelry and stuff. I'm not sure. Yeah, but we're not high rollers, so we don't indulge in those markets. Those are no interest to us. But yay, so, I've seen, maybe there's a point in time, a day in my life where that might have been a big deal. I think a whole bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label or something, from some exotic bar somewhere, like I said, that made it different. I guess maybe the stamp of, the Jamaican, liquor stamp on there, where they put all the things. Maybe that would have made it interesting, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that Jamaican trip. Oh, no, I'm just fucking with you. I've never been to Jamaica in my life. That's true. Although I've been to the Virgin Islands. Yes, U.S. Virgin Islands. Oh, yeah, U.S. So you are no British. Which one was it? The one where you're driving on the wrong side of the road. But ironically, with traditional, American style steering setup on it. So it's kind of a screwy setup. I actually rented a car and drove it on that. I thought, holy crap! This is back in about the '80s, I think. Something, yeah, rental car. It's like taking an American car, not an English. It's what the left-hand drive on your American car. But the roads are oriented to you driving on the right side of the road. Make sure yeah. And so it's just opposite here. It's like just backwards. Yeah, so you're sitting there driving, the car you're behind, you're in the wrong seat to see what you're going to pass. Yet, like the passenger side, that's going to go out, around. And so, yeah, so you're on the wrong side. You're sitting on the wrong side as you're driving. Ah, it's crazy as shitty. Yeah, it's crazy as shit, man. I did it though. I re-rented a car. I can't believe I did shit like that. I wouldn't do that today. It's like, no, it's like, it sounds too much like a hassle. You know, when you're young and you're crazy, you don't give a shit about stuff. You do stuff and shit, you know. But you know, I'm glad I did. And survived. You have to say I did survive. Whew, I don't know. That's when I say I know the guardian angels. Yeah, I did some really crazy stuff. And I think back, I say, wow. Yeah, I was saved from a lot of situations. I mean, and you know what? Ironically, it's not something unusual and unique to me. I bet all those people out there, everybody's had some experience like that. And most of the time, you just want to just kind of shrug up like coincidence or something like that. It's like, just something synchronicity of two events that one creates and one that prevents, and they happen just at the same time. It's like you're saved from situations. Yeah. Or even warned of situations. Warned of it, yeah. So anyway, that was my experience with Holland, America. Now, they put, there was a lot of promotion and pushing through the general media, like the TV stuff, the general information coming out of being played out, and heavily promoting the next season of cruising, onboard incentives for booking now, and depending on the length of booking, all like onboard credit you could receive, per passenger, so like that. And these, I was like, oh, okay. So, at this point in time, I kind of thinking, I don't think I really want to go out on a cruise that soon, that I have to be booking it right now. That's like, you know what I'm saying? This having been my first cruise, now experienced travelers, they know that they have to think beyond that day when or that week that they're ending their cruise about what their next one's going to be. And it's like grocery shopping. It's like grocery shopping just after you've eaten or when you're hungry to eat. It's like, it changes the whole dynamic. So it's like, making your selection of what you might want to do after this one while you're just finishing up the other one, requires some mental gymnastics to kind of, from this, where you're at right now, to where you're like kind of winding down to exit this little cruise. So where you're going to build yourself back up for what's going on next. It's like, oh. So you have to do is to flip that dynamic on inside of your head and your brain and switch it around, and I'm thinking like, not right now. I'm just gonna go a season and reflect back on this moment and say, how do I feel about that now? Is that something I want to do now? It's because, like, say, hey, that memory just kind of makes me think, oh, I think I really like to do that. Or as I say, yeah, it was nice, but I had my fill. I think that's okay. I don't feel like I need to cruise that much anymore. I don't know. I could come back with that feeling. I mean, this is too early for me personally to say. Yeah, I know Ling, she talks about Alaska cruise. Well, maybe if we could stretch out over, maybe not within the next year, maybe within the next 2 years, stretch it out. That might work out. Maybe I try that. And I want to be able to sit down and approach it. I don't want to be like, I guess like, well, here's the thing. I mean, it could be business-wise the most perfect thing I could do. Book something while it's on that cruise. You get these pretty, onboard credits, other concessions and stuff like that. And if I'm an experienced cruiser to know exactly what I wanted to do, that'd been perfect for me. But for me, it's like, nah, I just didn't know enough about the process. I just went through this thing. And I'm even trying to decide in my mind, is this a mode of transportation I want to, do in the future? I don't know. I'm not sure. There was many pleasant aspects about it. But there's kind of a locked on. It's like being on an island for a defined period of time that you can't change. Yeah, so that creates that longing for freedom. Yeah, I mean, it's like you have no choice. You're stuck there. And it's not like stuck that there's anything bad happening. It's just a state of mind. You can get stuck there. So. But it really didn't turn out that way. It didn't really turn out that way. It's like reflecting back. There wasn't one single day. I didn't feel like harried, like we're racing and chasing to get somewhere. So, yeah, we were always thoroughly occupied. Yeah, and on the 6th day at sea, there were times when we would take naps in the afternoon, maybe about a third of the time. It was nice, and then get up and get ready to go out and have dinner, was it gussied up or something? They say gussied up? Is that a word they used? I remember seeing that in some old-fashioned movie one time with Henry Ford and, Meryl Streep, I think, was it? No, I'm just fucking with you. I don't know. Yeah, that guy. He didn't know what was going on. So anyway, having said all that, it was a nice experience, and I'm glad I did it. It's not going to look back and say I wasted my time. Yeah, I had no idea how it was all going to work out for me. I guess to a great extent it kind of fit into what I kind of had generally felt. I mean, based on watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. So, and I felt a little bit acquainted with it. That's probably not a bad strategy. If you were going to do a cruise, watch videos on this. I mean, unless it's one you've already been on before and you don't need that, but if it was the first time, watch videos on, those cruise lines, You get familiar with, where everything's at, the restaurants and the attractions and what's going on here and there everywhere. So, just watch a few of this. And so what? I was, fairly well acquainted with the Nieuw Statendam, Holland, America's pinnacle class. I think there's 3 of them. Nieuw Amsterdam, Nieuw Statendam, and I can't remember. What was the third one? Can't remember. Not coming right to me. Amsterdam, maybe? Or did I say that? Yeah, maybe I said that. I don't know. Anyway, it's their largest ships. and they're, you know, they're make medium sized by the industry standard. You know. So yeah, to me it was very. I mean, I've never been on these big, huge, mega cruisers, but nah, this is perfect. It's big enough. You can create a little bit of a, you know, sense of community. People, I mean, you can see enough different people, and it's a little bit of, and yeah, so it's dense enough that you know see a lot at different points in time and different points of the ship. You know, you can cover a little, you know, fairly sizable number of people congregating around. You know, and some nice little crowds. It gives a nice feeling. You know. Yao Ling, honey. Well, my beautiful wife comes into the picture. So at that point in time, I'm going to say goodbye, and hope you enjoyed our journey. 28 days on the sea. Holland, America. Nieuw, Statendam.